Okay, recording in progress. We are tonight doing the second Tuesday of the month. It's Transformation Tuesday. And usually Kirsten is in charge of this evening, which is so beautiful that she's been doing that, but she's traveling, she's flying tonight. So I get to do it tonight, and I'm excited to do it because we have Beth Pierson, who's going to be teaching us tonight. And hang on one second. I got to make sure I get this up. And it's on the power of words. And I am such a believer in the power of words. It sets up everything for us. But I'm not going to say anything about it because I don't know. I don't want to take anything away from you, Beth. But I do want to introduce a little bit all of you who don't know Beth. And so Beth is a mother of two incredible souls, she called them. Her daughter, Georgia, and let me see, I don't remember it, is studying psychology at DePaul University in Chicago. They're really spread out. And your son, Jack, is at the University of Arkansas. He's a sophomore. And Beth has a full-time job. So she's balancing her life, her Juice Plus life, and her full-time work while she's nurturing her Juice Plus business. And I'm going to just read this little part. I love this. She's unwavering desire to uplift those around her and genuine passion for empowering others, reminding them of their unique gifts. So Beth is really good about seeing the light that's in other people and bringing it forward. And she definitely is resilient, and she definitely focuses on love and the power of lifting others up. And what I said to Beth when I was rereading that today, I was thinking, oh, I would be a friend with this person. And I guess I am. I'm so lucky.
You are.
All right. So Beth, I'm going to just turn this over to you.
Okay.
And you go ahead and share a power of words. And then I hopefully we'll have enough time for some questions.
That'd be great. Well, thank you so much for letting me be here today. I'm really grateful to Kirsten and I'll change my screen, sorry. So grateful to Kirsten and Nikki for letting me come share about this. This is one of my big passions, is talking about like the idea of how powerful our words are. So I'm one of those people that have been doing self-improvement for a long time. And so I'm really open to hearing and learning new things that make me a better person, and hopefully I can inspire others. So a friend of mine, it was actually a coworker who was a friend of mine, and she would say I worked with my sister-in-law, and we would kind of goof around a lot, and she would say, words have power, you don't say that. And so that just kind of stayed with me for a really long time. So, and every so often I would say something and my sister-in-law would be like, words have power. So we would just do this forever, Well, then it really kind of started resonating with me, and the whole concept that it really does, it is important. And so I work to improve my language. And, I say that in a way that, all of us just strive to do better every day. If we strive to do better, we can do better. And, not everyone's going to be doing it perfectly. I always think when we do something when our lives are perfect, that's probably time to say goodbye to life. Like God's done. Said, okay, come on, you've done everything perfectly. So I'm good with continuing on the learning front. So, so basically the language, improving that language is really about internal language and external language. So the language that I'm hearing inside my head, as well as the words I'm putting out to the world. And so about a little over a year ago, I was listening to something, another self-improvement thing, and somebody said something about the word overwhelmed, and it's a choice. And I said, gosh, that is so true. Like that is a choice, but then it will make me feel that way if I start thinking about that. So I decided I'm just not going to say that word anymore, because then I won't feel that. Because I was running around, I was always saying I was overwhelmed. I was always saying I was busy. And guess what? I really felt that angst, and I felt the stress, and I felt that all the time. So one day, I can't recall a time I've done this before where I've simply done something on that day and stopped it. And so I did that with the words overwhelm and busy. And I took both of those words out of my vocabulary and I didn't say them. And people will say to me today, oh, are you busy? I go, well, I have a lot on on the calendar. My calendar's full, something like that. I don't even like the words. I don't even like to say my plate's full or whatever. My calendar is full. I have things on my schedule, those kind of things that are real, but everybody's busy and everybody can be overwhelmed if you want. So I decided that's not how I want to feel anymore. So I didn't realize I wasn't doing that. And my daughter called me and I said, how you doing, Georgia? And I think it was the end of her freshman year. And she goes, oh, I'm so overwhelmed. I've got finals and this and that. And I said, Georgia, I completely hear you and I understand that completely. I said, maybe if you don't say you're overwhelmed, like choose to drop that word. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I said, Georgia, I told her how I had dropped that word. And I said, I don't even feel overwhelmed anymore. I said, I got a lot going on, but I don't feel overwhelmed. I don't feel that angst. And I feel like I've witnessed that in her. She has not told me that she doesn't say that word, but I haven't heard her say it. But I've seen her she's much calmer of a person. And anyway, so that was a big game changer for me. That whole, there are times in your life where you go, oh, that was a time in my life that made a change. And the other one is, just encouraging the kids with that. So with Georgia saying that, and then with Jack one time, and this was before I chose that to stop saying overwhelmed, but I always say, focus on those words, focus on the things that are that you want. So, put those words, not just because you don't want to feel it, you just put the things that you want to feel. So like for Jack, we were on his way to a soccer game and I said, because he's like, I haven't scored a goal in a long time. And I go, and you won't, because you keep saying that. And so let's stop that and say, I score a goal today. I score a goal today. We get to the game. He scores 2 goals. So I was like, ciao, mama's right. So, but, and the neat thing is that, I always think as a parent, I'm thinking to my kids that they're not really hearing me, that they're not really doing this stuff. And I had sent something to my son a couple weeks ago on Instagram, just another message about doing something to improve. And he replied back, I do this. I hear your voice all the time telling me to do these things. And I was like, wow, that's like the biggest gift to me, is getting to hear the impact that I've made on my kids, most importantly. And then of course, other people as well, because I've heard people tell me, over the years and coming to different events that I have, and they'll say, yeah, I hear your voice telling me to do, just do one thing at a time, just start drinking water, just start moving, doing those things. So anyway, so all that stuff is just, all about like having that power. So sometimes we don't really, kind of shifting gears a little bit, but we don't really recognize some of the phrasing that we use, and the thoughts that we think over time could really have an effect on us. So like our mental and our physical health, how we are seen in the world and how we see the world are all really affected by the words we use internally or externally. So for example, if I'm sitting here in like a really down place and I want to make some calls about my business, it's probably not the best time to do that, because I feel that energy is conveyed through I don't know, the phone, if you will, but like somebody can feel you when I feel you when you're calling me and you're not in a good place, or I feel you if you're not being dishonest. So if I'm being dishonest, or if I'm not in a good place, that's going to be felt by others. And we talk about that a lot when we're sharing about the product and business and like wanting people to see our excitement. That's it. That's exactly what it is. It's like all that excitement, those words have power in our bodies. So if we're telling ourselves, I I get to share this amazing product every day. I get to help this person feel better about themselves. I get to help this person feel better every day. Then I think that is going to be felt 100 times more, and people are going to want to go, people are going to really want to follow you. They're going to want to do what you're doing. They're going to want to say, gosh, look how I want to be, I'm attracted to that. So I was thinking, like, what are some, I guess, throwing in the chat, what are some words that that you find yourself saying that you might not want to, like, if you haven't thought about it, like, what are some words that maybe, yeah, busy, all those kind of words that really, you may not even realize that they're doing, oh my gosh, that was so stupid. I mean, how many times we've said that, Nikki? I mean, I've said that, I don't, we all say stuff like that. Oh, well, gosh, why was I so stupid when I said that? Like, when I said that to that person, like, that's not really helpful. So, and then, I like, Caprice, what you said, to attract rather than get. That's in my notes, actually, about, or not only to attract, but the other thing was, to shine on prospects rather than dripping on them. Try to, or not even prospects, shining on friends, shining on, other people that are coming into your life, all the wonderful people coming into my life. So all of those things, I was about halfway tonight, my example for that kind of thing happening to me was, I finished my day job, and then I went to go sit down. I go, oh, I've got to, tonight I've got to do this and this and this. I said, I am just going to veg out here for like 10 minutes. And I stood right back up and I said, I'm going walking. And it's a beautiful night. I mean, it's, it's cold, but it's like, it's cool enough to where I can throw on a big jacket and walk. And I tell you, I had the best walk. I walked the fastest I've walked in a long time, but it made me feel so much better to just get outside, because I knew I would. And it's like not engaging in that negativity and not jumping on top of that, that thought of like, oh, I'm exhausted. Like, somebody put that in here. It just made me think that. Anyway, and then, let me see where else I was. So I talked about that idea about the, when we're talking to others, and how that internal self-talk can really, have an impact on the conversation. It can have an impact on how somebody else is going to, respond to us. So, for example, I've actually had I'll be sitting here inviting people to events, my sourdough, and I'm thinking in my head, oh, they're not going to want to come. They're going to be so tired of me. They're so tired of me contacting them. They're so tired of blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I have stopped. I've put it down, and I said, I'm not going to email these or text these people, because that's not the energy I want to be putting out there. So of course I went last night to an event, and a friend of mine's party, I guess I should say. And of course, my treat to the party was my sourdough bread. I cut it up into pieces, and then I made some honey butter. And everybody's like, oh my God, who made this sourdough? And I go, I did. You want to come to a workshop? But my point is that, I don't know, I lost my train of thought right there. Oh, people came up to me at that event and said, thank you so much for continuing to invite me to your workshops. I know I haven't replied, but I do want to come, and please keep inviting me. Keep inviting me to your events. I really, I'm so grateful you think of me. So it's like, we have no idea what is happening in someone else's life. We have no idea what is happening in somebody else's head. Their experiences are going to be the barometer for how they respond. So if they're feeling badly that they haven't responded, they may not respond because they don't want to respond and, say no again. They think that might hurt my feelings. So it's like, we have to let go of what that outcome is. we just put it out there with the biggest love in our heart to invite or to share this, to share and share whatever it is that we need to share. And then this is other thing I wanted to say too about the like when you have your voices in your head and you're talking to yourself. Okay, think about what your posture is like. So if you are sitting there and you're feeling not positive, you're feeling bad about yourself, you're like, oh, I'm so poor me. I don't have any customers. I don't have any new friends. I'm never going to meet anybody again. I mean, truly, I can get there. But my posture's like down here and I'm like sad and lonely, like just this crumped up little weirdness. But when I'm like, I can tell you guys about sourdough and this and that and that. Well, my whole body's up, right? Like even sitting or standing, your body is completely different. And that energy is like head to toe, internal, external. So all that really helps. And just starting your day each day with positive affirmations when you get out of, and even saying them throughout the day. I have on my there's two things I have on my computer. I did a presentation for my work and it was a big, huge presentation. I was very, very nervous. And I was standing at my desk, I had my desk, the standing desk, and I was standing up and I have on my computer a note that just says smile and energy, because that's that's very hard to convey over Zoom sometimes, and so when you're doing a presentation and you're in a business situation, that can be very, very hard to convey. So I have to have these reminders, but I've left that up there because then I'm sitting here and I might, oh, I need to smile. I need to have some energy, even if I'm by myself. And the other one is anything is possible with God. And it's like, well, my daughter did leave me one as well. She said, I love you so much, mommy. So I kept that post note there too. But I love the idea of just like putting these notes and messages in front of you just to constantly remind you and have those words in your face, essentially. And then last thing I did want to say is, so really the simplest changes in our verbiage can really have a huge, this is kind of wrapping it up, is the simplest changes in verbiage can have a huge impact on how we feel and how we make others feel. And this in turn can really have a huge impact on how we attract new people into our lives, new customers, new team members, all of that. So one last thing, I did see somebody post this today on Facebook, and I thought it was a great quote that to end with was, how we talk to ourselves is a reflection of how we see ourselves. Mm. So I love that. And I thought that was a nice bow on the top, cherry on the top. So thank you very much. I love you all and I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Wow. Great, Beth. I want to add one really quick thing, and I don't know if anybody has any questions or reminders. And I also wanted to just say that Beth's actual national marketing director upline is Deb Rudloff. And I just really want to acknowledge you for being on the call. Beth has sort of come into our group and she's done some stuff with us, but she wouldn't be here without you, Deb. So it's really important to say thank you so much and for your generosity of sharing her with our seriously. I think that's one thing I wanted to say at the beginning and I forgot. But one of my very favorite words, Beth, and Deb, you might remember this, and Patty, is, Jim Rohn. He used to say when things were sort of unacceptable, like somebody would cut you off on the freeway or somebody would do something that you would think, he always used the word, well, that's fascinating.
Fascinating.
And to this day, I have used the word fascinating all the time. Number one, when I say it's fascinating, it totally shifts from somebody being stupid or judgmental. I'm not being judgmental. I'm more like being perplexed about their behavior, and it just fascinates me. And I would just offer that up to all of you, that when you're frustrated or something's going difficult for your way, is that you go, well, that was fascinating.
Mhm.
And think about how that feels when you say it. It makes a real difference. Words definitely have feeling. They definitely have power. So yeah, Patty.
Um, First of all, Beth, I have to say I needed that so much. It was just such a good thing for me. And Beth and I were chatting today about a training I'm doing. So it's just such a good reminder and to set me up for what I'm going to be doing. And you shared something today about a worker, a coworker saying something to you about like, that's no big deal, or
Oh,
what was it? What was her
oh,
phrase?
that's right. I forgot about that. So I'm super aware of like when people, how when they email and the words they say in your email. I don't know if everybody else is, but that's just how I am. And I'm editing. No, I'm just kidding. So I noticed that this one person will always say, somebody will ask a question and they're like, no problem, no problem. And I said, that just makes me feel like it would have been a problem unless you told me it wasn't a problem.
Ah,
Right? Like, or no worries, no worries. Like there, all those things, like even in an email, like just, I say all good. I use that a lot. And I use, uh, you know, what else can I help you with? You know, anything like that, just instead of like, no problem, or you're welcome is a good one. That's a fun one, right? We've dropped that for some reason. But there are so many words that actually kind of misconstrue what you're trying to say. You're trying to say you're welcome and you're saying no problem, but no problem insinuates there's a problem. So
That I've been thinking of that ever since I talked to
Yeah.
you earlier, and I was like, that was a good one to share. So
great.
yeah.
thank
Well,
you.
everybody, Beth, thank you so much for volunteering to help who's normally here, which is, of course, Kirsten. I so appreciate Kirsten organizes this the second Tuesday of every month. And I just want to wish all of you, I don't know if we'll be seeing each other. Well, we do. We have a call, a wrap-up call for the year with the National Marketing Directors on the HEAT team. We would love to share our appreciation and gratitude. We're hoping you all come on that call. It'll be a short call. And other than that, we all want to wish each other, I know, happy holidays, and take care and love on each other lots, because particularly right now in our world, we need to be spreading a lot of love and a lot of light. So
Absolutely.
that
And
said,
Beth, I so appreciate your message and your vulnerability. It was amazing.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
good. All right, everybody. Have a great night.
Love you all.
Thank you so much, Beth. That was wonderful.
Oh, you're welcome.